on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The drama that's happening in Rivers State, of course, takes center stage. That's the big story this morning. And it says, Tinubu wades in, Wike and Fubara meets, greets in Abuja. It's not by doing meet and greet. What next? There's been so many stories about Wike's involvement, the ridiculous, seemingly ridiculous or alleged ridiculous demands that Wike has made about the federal allocation, how he wanted to. I watched an interview where a political chieftain in the South talked about how Wike would be, he's in charge of Abuja and wants to be in charge of Rivers State at the same time. Just so much drama going on.
Not only that, from the conversations that we heard yesterday, there's people who allege that he was demanding 25% of the state's allocation.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
And that Sim Fubara had offered 10%. But that was where the chaos was starting from. Not even realizing that you were even indicting Fubara himself, that he was willing to part with 10% of the state's allocation.
You're basically,
these are just
allegations,
by the way. He was willing to part with 10% of the state allocations, I beg your pardon, to his political godfather, in quote. There is that, and of course, Nyesom Wike, of course, in a video yesterday, I'm not sure when that video was made, but where he was boasting that everybody who contested from Rivers State, he paid, who bought their forms for them. Everybody who contested for State House of Assembly, National Assembly, House of Reps, everything that he paid for their forms. And so, they almost kind of are loyal to him.
So it's interesting to see that this is a reflection of how our leaders see politics and see positions of power. They see it as their birthright. When the current president made a statement in Miloko and he came under criticism by young people, this was the mindset. It wasn't just about the statement. It was more about the mindset about feeling entitled to holding an office in power, like the office is some birthright. Then you leave the power, you leave the office, and you still don't want people there to run things as they deem fit. You want to be in charge, but you cannot be in control in perpetuity. At some point, your time has to come to an end.
But the thing is, these aren't new.
Of course.
In Nigeria's political space.
Will we ever get over the godfatherism in Nigeria?
Almost not. It's not new, and it's not peculiar to Rivers State. It's happened in many other states where a governor leaves office and then he, engineers the entry of somebody else, into that position. So it's not new. There's also the part where they mentioned allegedly that Nyesom Wike also had nominated a lot of the commissioners, nominated the local government chairman, nominated the chief security officer to the governor, and all of that, which are all just allegations. These are just talk for now. But that's what it is.
As sub stories, you can see here still on the talking about Rivers State. Rivers government denies sack of chief judge and 23 local government chairmen. Well, this was a story that made the headlines yesterday. Apparently, Rivers State has denied it. The government has denied it. PDP asks feuding party members to sheath swords. Dispute in Rivers has been resolved. PDP governors thank Tinubu for intervening. Police arrest Rivers NYCN chair. 15 pro-Fubara supporters have been arrested as well. Youth maintain occupation of government house gate. Let's hear what our guest has to say about this. I'd like to welcome our guest, Adebowale Jeff Johnson. He's a public affairs and political analyst. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
What do you make of the drama that's going on in Rivers State? Some would refer to it as rather embarrassing, but revealing of the fact that we're not anywhere far away from political godfatherism, which has taken roots, very deep roots in Nigerian politics.
Oh, well, yeah, it's quite amazing, and yes, much more shameful, for lack of a better word, that, we have to be in such a situation like this. I find it very difficult to think that it was, this was something that was said by, I think, some investigative journalist, I think on X at some point, I think in the course of last week, that there's something going on in the state and the governor, the elected governor, is incapacitated in running the state. And to say the least, to now see the show of shame yesterday, I believe online, because I wasn't opportune to watch it live as it unfolded, but I saw it online on X, again, and it was heartbreaking that the chief security officer of a state would get down from his vehicle trying to access a government building. However, whatever the situation may be, for him to have been shot at, whether it was live bullet or not, but shot at by a security architecture of the country, I think it was just, blatant show of shame that this is what we are experiencing in a nation like Nigeria, the most populous black nation, on earth, and to talk about how we have preached and talked about democracy and the rule of law, and all of the things that surround the fact that we have freedom of speech and freedom of expression. Even if for any reason the governor, and it baffles me to think that within the last few days, somebody would probably think of impeaching him. I don't know what he may have done, whether right or wrong. But I think that if there is any iota of respect for humanity at all, let's even, look in a broader perspective, there should have been some sort of decorum to the action. And if he was going to be impeached, let him carry it out in a civil way. Not the way things have panned out because somebody spoke against somebody. I don't want to believe that that's what it is. But seeing the news today, looking at the mediation between His Excellency, former governor of the state, and His Excellency, the current governor of the state, by the Nigerian president, I think it shows that truly what has been said about how the structure of the state has been put in place is actually true.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, it should also point something out, that the PDP as a party is, at this point, I don't know how to describe them. Because what it means is, that the leadership of the PDP couldn't wade into, their own internal issues and settle problems between, a PDP governor and a PDP former governor, but they had to go to the APC's lead president to sort it out. But hopefully we come back to it,
yeah,
and then we can share that with you. But let's go to the Daily Trust newspapers this morning and see what we can find over there, what the big stories are. It says there, cash scarcity returns to Kano, Borno. It seems like Nigeria hasn't really healed from the Naira replacement or the Naira remake that was done by former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. It was a failed attempt to remake and redesign the Naira. And I feel like some people should have lost their jobs, not just a few. A lot of people should have lost their jobs for that, but it's Nigeria. But cash scarcity returns to Kano and Borno. Also says here, banks ration withdrawals, ATMs run dry. Abuja BDC operators decry Naira crunch.
So we've started again. We're back to where we were earlier in the year.
Yes. Also on the Daily Trust newspapers this morning, Governor Malabuni building a stronger post-insurgency Yobe state. That's also in the news this morning. And of course, it shows the plan for Yobe state: roads and drainages, water supply, agriculture, healthcare, and all the things that Yobe state has been able to achieve, I believe, or is still planning to achieve. And quickly, moving on to the Nation newspapers this morning, Fubara Wike feud. Tinubu PDP governors mediate. Interesting. Governors praise the president for intervention in crisis. Freedom of judiciary. Supreme Court verdict has closed 2023 elections. And also Lagos secures $1.35 billion deals for 4th Mainland Bridge, Blue Rail. NEDC leads victims of Maiduguri market fire with 2 billion naira. Just rushing through, Natasha is Kogi Central Senator. Motion on injunction court finds Aida Tiwa and all right, I think these are the ones that we will take on the Nation. But quickly, if you can quickly react to the cash scarcity returning to Borno and Kano State. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, just like you have said, I agree with you 1,000 or maybe 1 million%. I think that, and I said this even in another platform, that this is a typical show of shame. Again, a total breakdown of the basic things and principles of professionalism. You cannot say that you decided to go on a voyage for a nation and you didn't plan it properly and you didn't emphasize some things. And so clearly, it's not just only one man. Yes, the head must be cut, but I think much more many other people who sat, within that space and took those decisions should actually face the brunt of the law. We can't continue to run a nation, a nation like Nigeria like this. Looking at other headlines, yes, we've talked about the River State, and I think if you must talk also about security or insecurity in the north or basically around the country, I think there's much more we can do, in ensuring that the lives of people, citizens of Nigeria, are safe, and development into other infrastructure. If you must come to that, and you talk about, things you want to do in that regard. These are basically what I believe should be the roles and responsibility, basic roles and responsibility, primary roles and responsibility of any state in itself, to ensure that the infrastructural deficit we have in the country are well dealt with, and ensure that we have what is adequate for the common man to be able to live a smooth and simple life. In itself, Nigerians are not asking for a lot. We're just literally asking for the basic things. Let's even start from there. Let's give the people basic things first of all, and then we can move on to other innovative solutions.
Well, best of luck to, of course, everyone. We hope that the government also understands how important these things are, and how we need to get some semblance of sanity in our country. It's embarrassing at this point. And I feel like every person who is a part of this mess should be ashamed of themselves. But shame is something that we don't find a lot around here, unfortunately. Adebowale, Jeff Johnson, thank you very much for stopping by. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.